Hello, welcome to the first official episode of the Cleveland Marathon podcast. I am one of your hosts, Adam Gockowski, and I am here with...
I'm Jen Boerwinkle. I'm co-hosting with Adam.
And Jen, we're here.
We've been planning this for so long.
Even down to the final minute, trying to get the technical, up and running. It's, but we're here, and we're going to have a good time. What a beautiful day. What a historic day for the Cleveland Marathon, as we've been wanting, as Jen just mentioned, we've been wanting to do a podcast for quite some time. So obviously, being episode 1, bear with us on any technical support or any, things like delay, but we're here. So Jen, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I feel like we started talking about this back in the summer and it's finally here. So it's just really exciting to finally be talking and be ready to talk about the Cleveland Marathon. So
you know what? That's probably the best place to go for this intro episode is right off the bat. Who are we? Why do we have a podcast? We're rocking these hoodies on here. And obviously, some of you that are listening to the show right now are probably watching. Some of you are probably streaming the audio. So for those that are streaming the audio, Jen and I are both wearing our Cleveland Marathon Ambassador shirts. And that's probably a good place to start. So Jen, who are you?
Yeah, so this is actually my 3rd year on the Cleveland Marathon team and joining the ambassador group. I mean, it's just been so fun to be able to represent the Cleveland Marathon in this way, just as a person, as a mom, and a runner in Northeast Ohio. So super thankful for that. And, the amount of people that I've been able to meet and, become friends, become family, and just being part of that and representing the marathon in Cleveland. So.
Well, away from you being a runner for the marathon, who are you as a person?
As a person, I'm from Ashland, Ohio. So I'm actually an hour south of Cleveland. And anyone that's traveling from Cleveland to Columbus, I am the Grandpa's Cheese Barn exit, and everyone knows that exit usually. There's not a huge run group following in Ashland. So I'm mostly a solo runner, and I found community with the run groups in Cleveland with the Cleveland Marathon Ambassadors. And so I've just been really excited about that. But I'm also a really busy mom, and a lot of times I'm fitting in runs and training runs when I can. And my kids are 11 and 7. They're busy kids. They're in sports. They're in clubs. They do a lot. And then also I've been married to my husband for 15 years this year. And he also works full time. I work full time. I'm a social worker. And so we got really busy lives, and fitting and running has been something that just brings me peace in my day and joy in my own day, something I can focus on that's just me. But also share that with other people too. So that's who I am.
And I will say this, she has such a great family. I saw them yesterday. I saw the whole extended family. And her son has the best mullet in all of Northeast Ohio. And it's but congratulations on all of your success and you and your family. It's been an absolute pleasure and blessing to get to know you guys as people, and of course you as a runner, and becoming just a great friend of mine, and you're awesome, Jen. So as for myself, my name is Adam Gockowski. I am actually in Lakewood, Ohio. Some of you might recognize me from some of the run clubs that I partake in Northeast Ohio. You may see me at Run with the Winners, at Guardian Runners. I'm everywhere. So I actually grew up in Twinsburg, Ohio. I graduated out of Kent, and then I moved to Lakewood after college. And I got into running in about 2018. And then I became an ambassador 5 years ago. And then this is my 2nd year as the ambassador program manager. So that's been a lot of fun. And for those that are listening that have been lifelong Clevelanders and big Cleveland sports fans, you may remember me as the 2024, or not 2024, as the 2014 then Cleveland Indians governor of Ohio. So, Jen, I don't know if you've ever looked that up. When I'm talking about Ohio, I sound like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. So, for those that remember, you're probably laughing. For those that don't, you have the internet. You can Google it. Anyways, so Jen, let's talk about the future of this show and what we want to do and everything along those lines. So, as you mentioned, we've been talking about this probably since when? The summer, you would say?
Yeah, I think we really initially started talking about it. We were at the women's 6K in Canton, and we really started talking about it, and that kind of led through the summer. And this summer I had broken my foot at a 50K and I wasn't training the entire summer. So, I had a lot of time to really think about that too. And we started talking about it then, and I think we talked about it some more at the Akron Marathon Relay, which we all love. And yeah. And then now we're here today.
Well, this has also been an idea of mine dating way back because I'll be honest, I bought these microphones 6 years ago. So I was I was on an Indians podcast years and years ago, and when that show ended, I'm still very good friends with the host, the other hosts on that show. But I bought the equipment, and I'm like, I wanted a podcast of some sort. And then once the ambassador program started, and then you've been guests on other podcast shows, I've been guests on other podcast shows, so it made sense for you and I to put something together. But as for the future of the show, really, it's going to be, we have 48 and counting years of Cleveland Marathon stories to tell. So the beauty of it is Jen and I, for the audience to listen to that are listening right now, we want to have this be a celebration of the Cleveland Marathon, in both words, Cleveland and marathon in the sense of running. So we want this to be the show where it doesn't matter if this is your first marathon. It doesn't matter if you're an elite runner. It doesn't matter if you're a 5K runner. It doesn't matter if you're a 5K walker. It doesn't matter if you're a marathon walker. If you're from the greater Cleveland area, we want to have you celebrate with us. And it's not just Cleveland. We're talking suburbs. We're talking, Jen's in Ashland. That's still greater Northeast Ohio and everything.
I think you said that best, Adam. Is the great thing about the Cleveland Marathon is we have such a variety of people who 5K. My entire family comes up for the 5K. My 7-year-old runs the 5K. We've got so many different people at different levels and different experiences, and everyone is welcome to participate in these race distances for the weekend. The entire weekend is just so much fun, from the expo until, the after party of the marathon on Sunday. So it's so welcoming. The city's so welcoming, and we're just so excited for that weekend.
And some of the ideas that you and I even talked about, like, when I say 48 years of marathon stories and counting, we, in the sake of Northeast Ohio and Cleveland, we want to have you learn and be entertained. So, for example, you may tune into the show when we're interviewing somebody, like, for example, our good friend Teddy, who is she handles a volunteer program. I've been trying to get Teddy to be a guest on this show, so that way you guys can learn the logistics of what goes on behind the scenes of the Cleveland Marathon. So the volunteer program is just one aspect. We may talk about, we may have a run club leader on the show. Jen, you had some ideas the other day. I forget what they were, but I remember you were very about it. What were those again?
Well, we've talked a lot about different people that could join us. We've got a lot of moms that run. We've got a lot of different athletes in the community that are at all different levels. We've got, just so much as like families getting together to do it together. But as far as people being on the podcast and, having some different topics and having some different, I know we're going to talk a lot about the course, which is everyone's favorite subject. Adam's going to talk about his course studies, which is going to be awesome. Where do you park when there's a course study? How do you get back to your car? Like if we're starting certain places, we're going to talk about all that stuff. Even maybe down to parking on the day of the marathon. What's the porta potty situation like? What's the food like afterwards? Any of that stuff that people are interested in. Where do you get help if you need help while you're on the course? We might talk about something like that. So yeah, we've got a lot of different topics we'll be talking about.
And Jen, I don't think you may know this. I don't know if you do or not, but I've seen the Indian/Guardians in all over this country. Why I'm bringing that up is I've been an outsider representing Cleveland all over coast to coast. People that are listening, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're a Clevelander at heart, you're always going to have that home feel. Also, on the flip side, if you've never had any connection to the city, but you're looking to find a different marathon to partake in, or a half, or whatever distance, and you're thinking about Cleveland, Ohio, we're here to help you. We're here to welcome you into our homes. And as I brought up the Indian/Guardians in my history, anytime we have away fans at Progressive Field, I always welcome them with open arms, no matter who they are rival-wise, because this may be their only opportunity to remember the city of Cleveland. So as you and I are ambassadors for the Cleveland Marathon, by default, we're also ambassadors for the city of Cleveland / Northeast Ohio, all the suburbs and everything. So I'm always going to be, open arms to everybody.
Yeah. And I think that's the best part is it really, the marathon brings us together, but I mean, Cleveland sports will always bring us together too. So I love that you brought that up, but yeah, I mean, the marathon really does. And it really is so welcoming and gives you the opportunity to really see so much of the city and so many great things happening in the city.
You know what else brings people together? Is Cleveland food. And that will be a subject that we will need to dive into. Especially
we talked about that.
We can talk all day about that. That is one thing.
What
that
to eat?
What to
eat afterwards?
The options, because I mean, obviously everyone knows individuals like Michael Simon. Cleveland's great, but you're going to get a lot of hidden gems in the city. I'm going to cut myself off about Cleveland food right here because we don't have enough. I know we're a marathon, but that involves running, not the podcast episodes themselves. So I'm going to mute myself. But, Jen, that's the beauty of this race is the fact that we're already going off topic about what this initial episode is, meaning we have endless possibilities for this series, and endless subject matters. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So with that being said, as we wrap up today's episode, where can we find you on social media if anybody listening wants to follow you as an ambassador and your journey and everything?
Yeah, my Instagram is JenRuns2Fit. It's the number 2. That's my primary Instagram account and the one that I use as a Cleveland Marathon ambassador, and post all my running content there too.
Awesome. And you can find me at AC McGlockster Run page. Actually, I think that's what it's called. Just type in AC as in ACEY and it's going to pop up. That's a story for another podcast of why my Instagram is called that, but we'll save that story for another time. And Jen, as we wrap this episode up, I just want to give my thanks to the Cleveland Marathon staff, Jack Staff himself. And mind you, when I say staff, the first time it was STAFF, meaning the whole everybody in there. And then there's Jack Staff, everybody. And then there's Jack Staff as in STAPH, who him and Bernie, his wife of many, many years, have been, from my understanding, they've owned 47 of the 48 Cleveland Marathons. and we definitely have to have them on. They're an absolute riot
Oh, yeah.
to talk to. But to, the whole Cleveland Marathon staff, as in the company, from obviously Jack, Ralph, Joan, Darla, everybody involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. The ambassadors themselves, and we're going to have a lot of good time. So I'm excited to talk about the history, everything, even down to the Refco era to today's race. It's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we have planned. So once again, my name is Adam Gockowski, and I'm here with...
And I'm Jen Boerwinkle.
And thank you for listening, and we'll be back for an episode 2. All right, thank you, Cleveland. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.